Hello Bison fans, it's wrestling season here in Fargo. 2 duels last weekend, an Oklahoma State duel is coming up. It's a fun time of year, the season is underway. It's an exciting year coming up for NDSU wrestling. I'm Jeremy Jorgenson, joined by assistant coach Jarrod Garnett, and we're going to recap Northern Iowa, and set up Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's one of the top teams in the nation coming in to the Shield Center here this weekend. But first, a couple of duels to start the season off, and it's just exciting to get going, isn't it? You guys are excited to get out there and get these boys on the mat. Absolutely.
You know, the first couple weeks of the season is obviously the most exciting for the guys, and you know, you have to maintain a lot of that and find different ways to keep them interested and motivated and excited. But you know, there's no better way to start the season than with the first 3 dual mates that we started off with against a handful of 3 top 15 teams.
And one of the toughest places to wrestle in America is Carver Hawkeye Arena, where there's thousands of fans. They really draw well. They're a tough team. They're ranked 8th in the nation, and that was your first duel. So it was right out of the gates. You're going against one of the top teams in the nation. Lose 38-6. But summarize this duel for us, and what good came out of it, and what you guys are going to learn from that one.
You know, it was a good experience for our guys. I think when we sat down and we looked at our schedule last year, and looked at what we wanted to do this year with our schedule, I think it was a big deal for us to get started off with a little bit of a tougher schedule, especially. You know, and when you talk about tough environments and tough teams to wrestle, I mean, one of the most historic programs in college wrestling is the Iowa Hawkeyes. Experienced staff, lots of fans. Their fans are crazy, very knowledgeable, and it can be a tough place to wrestle. And we have a lot of guys that it's their first time stepping into the lineup. I think 25, 41. You know, heavyweight, all their first time starting in the lineup there this year. So we wanted to get these guys this experience, and we even took some younger guys with us on the trip, just so they can see what it's like. And you know what, it showed our guys what they have to work on. It showed them what successful wrestling looks like. Obviously, they've had a bunch of storied success, and that's what we want to have. And so it's important for those guys to see what it looks like.
So you turned around on Sunday, then went to Northern Iowa, also a ranked team. They're number 13 in the nation in the dual rankings, 21-19. This one went right down to the wire, went right to the 141-pound match where they got a tech fall to get the points, take the lead, and win the match. What did you take out of this match?
You know, this was one that we looked at and we said, hey, you know what, this is a really good team, but we match up extremely well. And we had a set game plan going into it, and we took what happened at Iowa, you know, and we had a teachable moment on Saturday when we got to Cedar Falls and we had our practice. You know, we had a long practice, added some technique in there, and we changed a bunch of things. Because where we got beat in Iowa, we were determined not to get beat at UNI, and I think we had a lot of success with that. Obviously, we still took a 2-point loss there, but you know, I think for us at a you know, weight like heavyweight, we had a phenomenal win. You know, looking at 33, you know, we had to make a tough decision. We weren't perfectly healthy at that weight class. We got a couple of young guys sitting behind Mr. Sikora, and so you know, in order to have a chance to win that dual meet, we had to make a tough decision. And so we pulled McGuire Midkiff out of redshirt, and he came out and got a big win in his home state in front of a bunch of fans that know him pretty well in the state of Iowa. So you know, we certainly sent them home, you know, with many casualties. Even though they got that team win, we had a bunch of individual success.
You know, over the weekend, a couple of real bright spots, I thought, were the redshirt freshman at 125 at Iowa gets a pin. Stribel, you mentioned at heavyweight at Northern Iowa, and that was a big win for him. So there's a couple really things you can build on there.
Absolutely. That heavyweight at UNI has actually beaten both of our guys. Yeah. You know, so when we looked at it, we said, hey, this is going to be a turning point. And when we drew, we knew getting through heavyweight, and as we went to that turn to come back to 25, that was going to be a potential big swing in that match, and it certainly was. You know, and Dan actually had an opportunity to get bonus late in that match. You know, so Isley is a top 25 heavyweight, and I think, you know, when you look at it, that's a big win for Dan, just talking about A, getting him in the rankings, and B, quality wins as we look forward to qualifications for the NCAA tournament.
No question. Now, moving forward this week, it doesn't get any easier, but it's a fun week for you guys. You know, you really want to test yourself against top competition. You did that with Iowa. Now here comes number 3 ranked Oklahoma State to the Shield Center, 1 o'clock this Sunday. Bison Nation, get out there. This is going to be fun to watch. You want to see these Bison go against the top kids in the country, and that's Oklahoma State. This is a tremendous program, isn't it?
Absolutely. Again, you talk about storied programs. This is another one of those storied programs in NCAA Division I wrestling, and you know, they're coming off of a hot win over the 6th ranked team in the country. Wow. That they beat 30-3. They won 9 matches out of 10. You know, in that 10th match, they were winning 8-1 late in the 5th and 6th and 7th minute of that match, and you know, so our guys are gonna have to be ready. It's a little bit of a different style than what we've seen against Iowa and UNI. They're a little bit more hands-on, hand-fighting type of get in your face, you know, be a little bit more aggressive. And I think Oklahoma State's a little bit more of a finesse team. They like to stay away from you, like to get you from the outside, stuff like that. So I think our guys are going to have to, again, make some adjustments and be ready for that type of style. But there's no doubt about it. We're excited to host those guys here in Fargo in our new arena and see what our guys can do against, again, another top-ranked team. So.
Should be a great environment, and your guys have to embrace the challenge. You know, this can make them better later in the year. When you start with Iowa, you start with Oklahoma State, even Northern Iowa, you know, to come out of the gates like this can really benefit you later in the year. Yes,
it's you know, strength of schedule is a term that I think everyone will be familiar with. That's a big deal as far as NCAA qualifications, and I think just being battle tested. You know, the Iowa guy, the UNI guy, the Oklahoma State guy, these are going to have to be the type of guys that we beat in the quarterfinals to guarantee ourselves All-American to get into the semis. These are going to have to be the guys that we beat in the blood round, the round of 12 at the NCAA tournament, these tough wins. We have to be able to expose ourselves to different styles of wrestling, to different styles of teams, you know, really good. And I think when you look at Oklahoma State, again, we can't host a better team than Oklahoma State here, and I think this is probably the best team that we've hosted since probably NDSU wrestled Iowa here back in the day when there were 7,000 people in the stands, and I think that's exactly what we're trying to replicate. That exact moment, that exact environment. You see a lot of that picture getting circulated around with the history of the old BSA, and I think now being, you know, in the new Shack, you know, we're trying to rekindle that just in a new era.
Jarrod, best of luck to you, Roger Kish, the head coach, the Bison. This is a fun week, and fans out there, come to this match. It's going to be fun to watch. 1 o'clock this Sunday in the Shields Center. It is going to be a tremendous event, and if you love wrestling, this is going to be high-level wrestling that you can watch, and it's going to be a lot of fun, so we hope to see you out there. Good luck, Jarrod, and thanks for your time. We'll join you next week and recap that Oklahoma State match.